member of the RHDP. That's a coalition of political groups supporting the opposition leader, Alassane Ouattara, and Expo Coffee. He's editor of the Colombo Journal, which focuses on issues surrounding democracy and social justice in Africa. Welcome to the programme, gentlemen. Thanks so much for coming in. Captain Mathieu, if I can start with you, first of all, how convinced are you that the three delegates from ECOWAS, the West African regional body, can convince Laurent Gbagbo that Ouattara should be the man in charge of Cote d'Ivoire?
Before I answer the question, could you just like to seize this opportunity to congratulate the President Alassane Ouattara and also congratulate Ivory Coast for the support to Alassane Ouattara.
Okay. But do you believe that your man Ouattara is going to eventually be handed power by Laurent Gbagbo, who looks like he basically intends to stay there? He's been threatened with military intervention.
Alassane Ouattara is a clear winner of the election, so I can't see the reason why Gbagbo should carry on remaining on the power. He should really leave peacefully, especially when there are some people politely coming to him to negotiate his departure. He should really accept it. He should really understand that it's a matter of that matter becoming a world matter now. So he should understand and leave the power peacefully in order for the Ivorians to live peacefully.
All right, explain Nani Coffee. There's no doubt about it. The UN, the African Union, the EU, plus most of the international community have united. Quite rarely they come forward together and said Gbagbo should go. That is quite rare, isn't it, to have such a united stance about the result of an election?
Yes, it's true that that's quite rare, and also it's also because sometimes you can have different interests and your decisions or your points may coincide, because whilst I'll say that the African Union has taken a certain kind of position over a period of time to respect elections or something like that, I think that the role that other forces, I wish the other external bodies were not even commenting on this issue.
Why?
Why? Precisely because of the kind of relationship that most of the European bodies and external bodies have had with Africa in the past, and the kind of interference, the kind of this, and it is even giving the excuse to mobilize people and wrongly give the impression that the country is under attack. Precisely because there's a certain history that you can't take away. The history of the Europe's relationship with Africa has not been a relationship of equal footing. And precisely because of that, it's also known that over the years, I know that a lot of you would have read things like the CIA declassified files, where the CIA admits overthrowing government, involved in overthrow of governments in Africa. And precisely because of that, people would see that the West in particular has not related with Africa specifically because of the interest in democracy or things, but because of the selfish interest.
Sure. So you're clearly suspicious of the international community, or the West as we sometimes refer to it, and their influence and interest in Africa. I'm interested in what Kadjo makes of that. I mean, there's no doubt about it that the international community seems to be united against Gbagbo, but there is a sense of interference, isn't there, here, that people are calling on this man Gbagbo to go. Should it not be sorted out simply by Cote d'Ivoire?
They are just basing their argument on the outcome of the elections. Obviously, Ivory Coast have been, for 30 years, Ivory Coast has been a very stable country. And I could just remind the gentleman here, in 2000, Gbagbo came to the power, and how did he come to the power? In a very, very poor way. Because the main opponents, by means Alassane Ouattara and Bédier, have been excluded for that election. So he came to the power. Obviously, the whole world was really Thank you. So the whole world was really watching how the next election will come about. But mind you, it has taken 10 good years before Gbagbo access to organized election. They postponed it probably 8 times. And mind you, the whole world has been investing some money to have a positive and a clear and effective election. Outcomes, for God's sake. At the end of the day, end of the election, Gbagbo wouldn't let the results to be consumed as it should be.
Experts, let's come back to you. I mean, clearly you're concerned about international interference, but the African Union and ECOWAS, regional African organisations that come out and said Gbagbo should go. Do you foresee that this is going to end up with some sort of military intervention? Does ECOWAS and the 3 chosen ECOWAS leaders have the power and the influence to say to Gbagbo, if you don't go, we are going to come in, or they're not going to be backing for that?
I wish there wouldn't be a military intervention. I very much wish. And the question is put in such a way that if one says that there's going to be military intervention, maybe be a prophet of doom or whatever. But the fact is that I am a man for the cause of African unity. And I wish that in the spirit of African unity, even Gbagbo and Ouattara can sit down and be able to discuss this issue, and that there could be a peaceful way of settling this. In fact, I see this problem not just as a problem between Ouattara and Gbagbo. I see it as a knock-on effect from even how the African countries have been put together historically, which is creating problems or how the countries are functioning. So I wish that the spirit of unity would help in resolving this problem.
Well, it's interesting, Kadjo, one final thought from you. Is there any possibility that perhaps Gbagbo backs down a little and there could be some sort of unity government in Cote d'Ivoire? Is that something that Ouattara would accept?
No, and I wish Ouattara wouldn't accept that, honestly, because in the Ivory Coast situation is not comparable to the one in Zimbabwe or in Kenya. There have been, the UN has been there to supervise the election, and there has been, as I said earlier on, there has been a clear winner, and as such, I can't see why we should have a power sharing. So Gbagbo should definitely go, and go politely in order to have a peaceful Ivory Coast. Having said that, just come back to the gentleman's what he mentioned.
I hope you don't misinterpret me, though.
So, I'm not.
I'll
do anything.
Please quickly.
Please. Yes, sorry.
No, please do carry on very quickly.
Gbagbo should go, and it's not a matter of seeing other countries being involved in what's happening in the Ivory Coast. I just mentioned it. There has been so much money put into the election, and that has to be considered by Gbagbo. It should have some respect for other countries. Mind you, I just give you just a simple example.
I'm really sorry, but we are running out. I'm being told in my ear we're running out of time. Gentlemen, I could talk about this all night. It's been fascinating discussion, and I do thank you. Kadjo, Mathieu, and Exploit Nani Coffee. Appreciate your time, gentlemen. Thanks so much for coming into the studio.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Now,
Why did it